People say I ain't no good, and I'm crazy as a loon. Cause I shave my head in the morning, pick guitar in the afternoon. Just like old Chief and Charlie, I like to lay around in the shade. Well, I ain't got no money, but you better believe I got it made. Cause I ain't asking nobody for nothing if I can't get it on my own. If you don't like the way I'm living, just leave this bald-headed country boy alone.
Before we get started with this episode of the Josh Terry Podcast, we want to thank all of our sponsors: Blazer 88, Project K9 Hero, Lori's Dive-In, 601 Roofing King, Down Yonder Hat Co., Cottonfield Grill, Cashman's Pub, Better Than Basic Marketing, Middle Georgia Total Health, Nobles Dirt Works, Nobles Networking, Mischief Media, Yankee Paradise South, Web Space Today, and 22 Sierra Coffee. Now, let's get into the episode, y'all. What's up, folks? Thank y'all for tuning to the Josh Terry Podcast. I want to thank all of our sponsors, of course. I want to thank just everybody that's just been hanging around lately. Y'all guys are just awesome. Y'all got our numbers spiked up. We just got our stuff back for the month of August, and we had our best month of the year. We're number 3 right now in mental health awareness weekly. Just a whole lot of shit, a lot of charts we ended up on in August, and wasn't for you guys listening, we wouldn't be. So I appreciate that. I got a dude on the show today who, first time I met him, I didn't realize what a badass he was, not only behind a guitar, but when he doesn't have a guitar in front of him. He's became one of my buddies. I like the hell out of this dude. He's just a badass, but I'm going to let him kind of tell you a lot about Mr. Dallas Alexander. What is up, my dude? How are you?
What's happening, man? I'm doing good.
Good
Thanks
to
for
see
having
you,
me back
man.
on the show. It's good to see you too.
Anytime. I'll admit to you. So like the first time we did the show, we was hanging out in Nashville. I just liked you so much when I first met you with Vaden, right? I knew very little about you. And like after now, like besides for just getting to know you as an artist or whatever, like finding out more about you, I'm like, this dude is such a fucking badass. And I just did not realize what a badass Dallas was. It was like, this dude is so cool. I had no idea. I'm a moron.
Well, I appreciate that. Feel the same about you.
Well, I appreciate that. I do not hold a candle to you, sir, but thank you. Like this is what blows my mind, man. Like I can't remember what I was doing, but it was after the whole Trump shit, like him getting shot. And I was just flipping through like TikTok or whatever. And I saw, I guess it was Alex Jones or somebody. I can't remember what shows you were on. But like it was like one after another, I kept seeing you like on these people's shows, and I was like, that's Dally.
There's a bunch,
what the
man.
fuck? I was like, Dallas. I was like, okay, I see you, my guy.
After that, so I was in Nashville when that happened, that Trump attempted assassination there. And I woke up in the morning and I remember seeing it just the day before a lot. And Sarah, my wife, was like, you got to make a video about this. And I was like, well, my opinion is, what I shared. And she's like, well, just quickly make a video. I'm like, okay. So I finished making a video on I just went out for a run and I made a little video at the end. And I've never had anything gone more viral than that.
I didn't know you made a video. What did you say?
It was just like a quick little thing where I'm like, there was all these opinions flying. I'm just like, in my opinion, I don't think that this 20-year-old, got that close to the most advantageous position you could get to. And this is just from my experience of being a sniper and doing close protection and stuff. And I'm like, I don't think that he did it on his own. I think that he had help from somewhere. And that was it. And that fucker went like viral. And so like, that's where I was on like the Drinking Bros, Tim Kennedy and Robert O'Neill, and then Alex Jones and a bunch of other channels and all kinds of stuff. Because they're like, oh wait, this ex-sniper has an opinion that's different than the news. I mean, surprise, surprise. But
yeah, no shit.
And that was all I was saying. And then it just like, it was crazy a couple of weeks for a little while.
Okay. So I didn't know that. I had no idea about why you, like how that ended up or whatever. I just knew like from what I had been told about like your military record and everything. Like I knew you was a badass anyway. Like I was like, oh, they just wanted Dallas's opinion. I didn't realize you had a video that like went viral and shit for your opinion.
Yeah, it was like the day after it happened.
Oh, okay. Because I've caught shit because I'm not like the biggest Trump guy anyway.
Me either.
Yeah, like I think he's the best of the options, if that makes sense. Like,
Totally. I mean, I just made a video about this yesterday. I feel like that about every politician.
yeah,
Like, I'm never team a certain politician.
yeah,
I'm just like, who can get us slightly closer to something? Like for me, I despise taxes. So like, and just no matter the politician that comes in, your taxes go like, we're gonna up. It's like the stock market since the dawn of time, ups and downs,
yeah,
but always trending up. So the taxes for us anyway in Canada have been up and down, but always trend up, so
yeah,
that they're just taking more and more of the people's money. Therefore, I don't like any politicians.
yeah. I don't either. And see, that's my thing is like y'all know that somewhere that they're kind of in bed with each other. They have to be. Like it's people that don't like it's he's not so far out of the system that he's not in the system, is what I tell people. And it's like he's still part of it. Like you got to realize that, right? Like you can't think that he's just coming in and wiping the slate clean with everything. Like he's still part of it enough to where you still got to get up, go to work tomorrow, pay your taxes, do it this and this. Like it's not a restart. It's not a reboot, dude.
Yeah.
Like people just they're crazy. But
Well, I think his stuff would be a change in trajectory that would be very welcomed,
yeah,
I think, in the US by a lot of people.
yeah,
Because I think the only thing he does really well, not the only thing. He's a businessman. He's made a
yeah,
ton of money. He knows shit. I think he listens to, like, there's enough people with these concerns, and he has people for sure running the numbers. Like, look, there are millions and millions and millions of Americans concerned about this stuff that no one wants to talk about. Guess what? I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to say that we're going to change it. So he can make it happen. Great. I think that's the only difference is he's legitimately listening to, or has a team that's listening to, and then telling him, listening to the people, like, and their concerns that are
yeah.
happening right now, which is, it's a good strategy. I mean, I don't know why more people don't fucking do that, because all you have to do is that analyze the opinions of people, which there's data on everything now.
Yeah.
Be like,
Well, down here, unfortunately, Dallas, all you got to be quote woke or do the complete opposite of what Trump says or does, and you're a fucking martyr. Like you're the best thing of all time. Like you're
yeah,
cool. Like Kamala, I don't give a shit about her. I don't think she's a horrible person. I don't care. But like they've just done the complete opposite of anything he said and done. So they've just preached hate pretty
yeah,
much on one side to where it's like, oh, you don't have to like him, but we're going to make you hate everything that he does to where you're just going to vote against him anyway. Doesn't matter if
yeah,
you like our policies or not. You just hate him
yeah.
enough to vote against him. Like
Well,
that, our country's so fucking weird, dude. Our country is just the biggest group of dumbasses ever.
we're right there with you, man.
I
It's
don't know shit
sick.
about Canada. I'll be real with you, dude. I don't know anything about y'all's political system. I don't know. I know y'all have a prime minister, right?
Yeah,
I don't
don't
even know what a
bother
prime.
learning.
I don't even
There's
know what a prime.
beautiful.
I don't
There's
even know
lots
what a
of
prime
nice
minister
people.
is.
Lots of nice people. Some beautiful land if you want to check out the mountains or you're a mountain person. Other than that, I wouldn't spend a single ounce of time learning about our politics.
Really?
Yeah.
You grew up in Canada though, right? Like you've been there your whole life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Like tell me like your upbringing because I like I said, I am oblivious to anything in Canada. So tell me like some Dallas history.
So I grew up in Alberta, which, if you don't know Canada, is kind of above Montana. I grew up in the middle of nowhere. It's I don't know if you guys have them there. So we have placed indigenous communities that are called Métis settlements. So they're like a reserve, like a reservation.
Yeah.
We also have reservations, but reservations are for like treaty Indians. Métis settlements, we're in agreement with our government, which are for like we half breeds is probably not the politically correct term, but that's what
I
I am.
like
So
it. I like
too
it.
bad.
I like that.
So so I'm a half breed essentially, and grew up on a Métis settlement. So right beside a reservation, but it's an indigenous community of like 300 people roughly in the middle of the forest. So like I love the freedom of just running around the woods and not have, like, I was, never we would take the odd trip into like the big city. And that was my upbringing until I finished high school, really. And I was a hockey player my whole life. So right after high school, I moved away to play junior hockey. And then at the end of junior hockey was kind of a deciding crossroads in my life, I guess, of what I wanted to do. And the only thing I ever wanted to do was play hockey until I was working in the oil field, which is a big, big business in Alberta. And I was going to go to like some kind of semi-pro hockey camps to figure out where I wanted to play. I probably could have played semi-pro. I wasn't going to go to the NHL. But I was like, I could still make a career out of this and play somewhere in Europe or whatever. But then the guy I was working with on the oil field, he had done a quick stint in the military, and he told me about a special operations unit we had, which I had no idea about. I knew nothing about the military, and I arguably still know very little. But he told me about this special operations unit, and at first I didn't believe him. And then I went home and like got on the old dial-up internet, and sure enough, there was enough information out there that we had a counterterrorism unit in Canada. And I remember just like switching immediately. I was like, holy shit, that's what I'm going to do next. And I started training for that, joined the army, and eventually tried out and made it to that unit. That's like my life in the quickest version.
Yeah.
About 16 and a half years in the military, most 14 of it in special operations as a sniper. And then I got out, and now I'm a songwriter.
And a good one at that.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, dude, I like it. So like what was just so everybody knows, and then we'll skip on to the new stuff. You have some kind of record or something though, don't you?
Yeah, our sniper team. So I was part of a 4-man sniper team, and we broke the world record for the longest kill, sniper kill shot in history, in Mosul in 2017 against an ISIS fighter there.
Oh, fuck that guy.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
He got what he deserved.
Yeah.
That's so cool to me. But and what's like I said, it just blows my mind that when I met you, you're just such one of the dudes that like when Vaden and everybody introduced me to you and we hung out that first night, like, and you've been around these guys, and it might not be with like the guys that you served with and anything. There's some guys down here that that they've done shit because they act like they've done shit. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way.
Oh,
But
I know what you mean.
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like they're within 5 minutes of being around them, they're gonna bring some shit up.
Yeah.
I don't think you'd ever bring your stuff up if somebody didn't ask you about it. Like you just
No.
you're,
I'm an open book to talk about it, but
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I mean, I don't go around leading
Yeah.
with anything
Yeah.
about that. It's also, I appreciate my time. It was fun and I had a great career, but it's also not what I am anymore. If someone's
Yeah.
like, "Hey, what are you?" I'm not like, "Oh, I'm an ex sniper."
Yeah.
I say I'm an aspiring, I'm a songwriter.
Yeah.
That's what I am now, or
Yeah.
a family man.
Yeah. Such a family man too. The first time we saw you when you had your kids at Live Oak and your wife, dude, it was so cool. It was so cute. You just don't see like a lot of guys when they come to town, when they come to Nashville, and they're up there. Like it's not that they're out doing anything they're not supposed to behind their wives' backs or whatever, but it is kind of hard to have your family there sometimes.
Oh,
And
totally.
but seeing you like with your family there, dude, it kind of reminds you like why you do it in the first place. It's like, man, this is the life I want, you know?
Yeah, well, I like in the military, I was gone so much. I had decided already when I first started learning this music business that I wanted to build a business that was also built around having my family around. So, and I'll come down. I've been down to Nashville a bunch of times without them, just on shorter trips,
Yeah.
but anything longer, they're coming with me. They've come on tour. We're actually figuring it out now. For the next, 6 months or so of touring, we're starting to look at what type of motorhome we want to have so everyone can roll along together and the band will still be in the bus. But yeah, for me, I like it's success if I can be doing what I love and then also have my family around. Even
Yes.
though it is harder sometimes,
Yeah.
I got little kids too, so there's a
Yeah.
million bags and there's fucking car seats and strollers and all kinds of stuff. But in the end, it's worth it, I think.
Have you been driving down to Nashville or flying most of the time?
I've kind of split it. My first trip down, I drove. I spent all of March there, songwriting every day. That's where I brought the family. We
Yeah.
drove. All the other trips we've flown.
How long of a drive is that?
It's like a solid. I mean, with kids, you're stopping and coffee breaks and stuff. It's like I break it up into 2 days.
Okay.
But you could push through and do it in about 17 hours,
Okay.
something like that. Yeah,
That's not as bad as I was thinking then.
it's not crazy.
It sounds crazy for me. But it's pretty, but I get it. It's not that bad. Um, dude, for the longest time, you wasn't able to play down here in the States. Remind me why you couldn't play in the States, like touring and stuff.
Yeah, you need to have a work visa.
Okay.
So like all my first trips to Nashville were because you can still come do songwriting and you can do writers rounds. You can kind of do anything that you're not getting a paycheck for. So you need to have for us, it's a P2 work visa is what we
Mhm.
got. And in order to book shows and get paid for them legally, you have to have a visa. So you could like come get some gigs under the table and stuff, but it's also I've heard they can be pretty strict. Like if they find out you're doing that, then there's like fine, you can never come play here, and I didn't want to risk that. So
Yeah, I don't blame you.
we made sure we got all the paperwork in line. But
I didn't know that till you told me a couple months ago. That was kind of weird to me that they wouldn't let people from other countries come here and play and not
yeah,
get. Yeah, I don't know. That is kind of they'll let them do it. They'll let fucking people cross any other border and do what the hell they want.
Yeah, I
But
know.
they won't let a fucking musician come do a show.
The amount of times I've heard that, just go through Mexico. They'll give you a paycheck and sort you out with a hotel room or whatever.
No shit. They would have gave you a damn whole mariachi band if you came
Mhm.
south, I guess. Shit. You should have just told me you had a song called Adios Amigo and just
That's
not told
right.
them
Hey,
and not told them what it was
so
about and shit. You'd have
this
been
t-shirt
set,
right
dude.
here.
I need that shirt.
Yeah.
I need that shirt. I've got to get you to sign it, by the way. And I don't know why I didn't when you gave me that tequila and your vinyl or whatever. But I've got some more vinyls and I get them all put in like these not the ones I got on the wall behind me, but at the studio, I'll get them all put like in little cases or whatever. And
Yeah.
I need to get one. I need to get you to re-sign one or whatever and put it in a case so I can keep it.
Oh, yeah.
That way I don't fuck it up. But I'm excited because I know I got you in touch with my buddy Lisa Williams, who has a couple bars or manages a couple bars up in Macon. And I guess
Yeah.
when you come down to Georgia to do some stuff, we got you for a date in October, don't we? Like
That's
October the
right.
6th or something, or October the
Yeah.
4th.
I have to check the date. I think it's the 4th.
Yeah, I need to look. Yeah, it's October
That
the
makes
4th.
sense. I'm playing in Atlanta on the 2nd. Yeah.
It's October the 4th.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's an
gonna be cool.
interesting as I'm like, starting to play in the States and book stuff, I have some agents and a manager that help, but I'm a up all night looking at venues kind of guy to see
Yeah.
what would fit and where we could go and just constantly emailing and reaching out and trying to find places. So you connecting us was a big help because
Well,
it's
Did you
sometimes it's a million emails and no responses and you're like, God damn.
did you get one the 5th?
I don't think we have the 5th yet. No.
Okay, I got a place I'll hook you up with the 5th. I'll call them. Remind me when we get done with this.
Okay.
It's another venue that we work with that's a little bit farther south. It's about an hour and a half south of Macon.
Okay.
It's another one that I worked with before. I don't know what kind of deal you cut with them. I stay out of money. I don't talk
Yeah.
money with nobody. But with this other place, it's a little more of a honky tonk.
Okay.
I think that you would do well there too.
Yeah,
I
let
think
me know.
I think it'd be
We're
cool.
still looking to fill the 5th.
Yeah, we can. I think I can get that one filled for you. It's a cool spot. It's just like down here, dude. It's which I don't know. You probably ran into this. Everybody wants you, and I'm not knocking Lisa. Lisa, I know you're gonna hear this. I love you, and I love the Hummingbird, and I think that you're playing at 20s the first time.
Yeah.
Coming down here. A lot of the places, a lot of the other bars, if you don't already have a number one and you want to play for $5, they don't want to book you. And it's the stupidest shit to me. Like
Yeah.
you have to listen to somebody's catalog that they have out and know that they're gonna be something and be willing to pay them. Like I'm artist friendly already because like I know you guys. I write with some folks. Like
Yeah.
I want you guys to get paid. Like, I want you to, at least if you're not getting paid well, I want it to be, this is an opening for you to, like, it's almost like a paid interview
It,
to where next time you come play, you get paid well. Like, I get where the first time you come into an area, you got to see how you're going to do.
yeah,
But
well, I mean, I don't, none of it, I mean, obviously don't take it personally. And I tell this to the venues, like, I'm open to work with a budget because we book, a different show rate here in Canada
yeah,
where we have some traction stuff. But there's places I've never even been to Georgia or
yeah,
Alabama. So like I don't expect them to, okay, here's how much you get in Canada, here's how
yeah.
much we're gonna pay or whatever it is. I'm good to just go let us play for the people and let
Yeah.
us meet some people and pass on our stuff. And if we connect properly, then they're gonna want us back.
Oh,
And so
absolutely.
I'm good to go down and put in the work and do the grind and meet people and network. And so all of it, I mean, I kind of understand both sides where I'm like, all right, if that's all you can pay right now, I'm like, we're gonna connect with some folks and we'll make it better next time.
See, that's why I dig you. There's a lot of places that aren't, or a lot of people that aren't technically like that. And you being understanding about that, that'll get you into a lot more doors everywhere you go. I mean, it's a grind, dude. I mean, but
Well, and
also,
there's also there's thousands of artists that want to go play these places. Like I'm sure they're getting, emails all the time. If you're picking a place that's, a common venue for artists to stop in or a common venue for people to, be part of a tour, they also have to narrow down which artists they're going to have.
yeah,
So there's a couple places I think they're hesitant, like, oh, from Canada, you're Canadian, you're coming way
yeah,
south. I don't know how's the draw going to be. There's a couple places I called back and I'm like, look, if I don't get minimum this amount of people, I'll personally buy the tickets myself.
yeah,
And that was enough to be like, oh, okay, we don't need you to do that, but we'll
yeah.
book you. And I'm like, okay, perfect. Got my foot in the door.
That's
So it's
cool.
just it's that grind because there's thousands of artists wanting to play and wanting to tour, and I think you just gotta put that work in.
Well, we've got lucky is it's like with our group of people that I like working with is I've built up our reputation, my reputation with this show and the events and stuff that we do to where like there's a couple bars that I can call and be like, "Hey, look, you might not have heard of this guy yet, whoever it is or this girl, book them. Book them and I'll help you promote it. You want to throw me a bar tab or whatever that night in a hotel room, I'll come down there and host it, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
just get them in the door the first time and let's get some folks in the door. And I promise you, you'll be happy to have this person back. And luckily, these bars trust me enough to where
Yeah, well,
they,
this was a huge help for us. Like I
yeah,
said, down there, like that's why, I reached out to you. I'm like, I don't know the area. I know
yeah,
I've seen your name. And I didn't even know that you'd worked with Hummingbird or those folks. But it's just my late night
yeah,
next venue. Look, and I saw that you had an event on one of their things. I was like, oh
yeah,
shit, I'm gonna
yeah.
reach out. Um, yeah, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, we've been doing shows with them. They're called Josh Terry's Honky Tonk Nights for like 2 years now. Like every other month we'll book an artist to come down. And what I do is like you've been to our writers rounds in Nashville. So like
Yeah.
I try to take at every event that I do, whether it's a writers round or whatever, or a concert, I try to make it where you're just not going to see the artist. You know that if our name is on something, that it is a good time.
Yeah.
That's probably some weird shit's going to happen. It's not a regular writers round. Like you're going to end up somebody's going to get way too drunk and be on stage and sing way too many songs, or something's going to happen that's sideways that don't normally
Yeah.
happen at one. But like people like that. Like and even like at our shows that we do at the Hummingbird, and Cottonfield Grill over in Alabama, we love them. There's a Cashman's up in Macon. We love Mr. Ron. Kevin and his family over in Alabama. Um, we do it different. Like whenever they had Will Mosley and Jason Michael Carroll for some stuff 2 weeks ago over in Alabama, and we ended up having Brian Martin show up, Court Taylor, Cole Goodwin. A bunch of our buddies just was like, you know what? we we all are just going to come for the weekend and have a good time and end up being like this whole thing. And
Yeah.
that's what we do. And so like a lot of venues want to work with us, and I'm very picky about it because like one, I don't want an artist to do shit that they ain't getting paid for. Like I understand that like right now you getting your foot in the door that you got to do shit for probably less than you want to do it for right now, but you understand why. But next time it's like, oh no, we're hooking Dallas up, like because I know what it's going to be. Like you're gonna have such a good time. People, I even was like, hey, look, this is how we got to approach the events. Let's do like a military supportive thing. We'll get the right atmosphere there. We know what people his demographic is going to be. They're
Yeah.
going to love him. They're going to love his music. We'll build him a fan base right here in Middle Georgia. First night, we'll hit a home run with it. And then next time that it's time for him to come through, let's go. Let's
Yeah.
fucking run with it. And
Yeah.
then we can get you anywhere around here and everybody will want you. It's just how like any event we do, if you can take it and make it a little bit to a gimmick to it that fits the artist and it doesn't make the artist feel like they're being used or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I don't, because I don't like that. Like I don't like doing that. But it's like, okay, let's have some fun with this and make it something special. Yeah, it always works out for everybody.
Yeah, man. Well, you're now I've been to, some of your rounds in Nashville and they are different, even on quieter, like, cause some of the rounds, like it'll get a little quiet and people, but you're always like snapping it back to attention, bringing the party back around after every,
Yeah.
round or song. And they could be like killer sad country songs or party songs, and it doesn't matter. And like the vibe stays there. I always liked your
Yeah.
rounds at Live Oak.
Yeah. It's dude, when I went into it originally, I just thought of it as like, you know what? And I'm not knocking anybody because everybody that already does like really good rounds, they're all special. Like going to a writer's round anyway is special to me. Doesn't matter who's putting
Yeah.
one on. Ray's Rowdies is great. Vaden's of Smash Farm's great. There's Little Skinnies is great. Like there's a lot of them that's really damn good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna forget somebody's, but if I forgot you, I love you. But fuck you. I just don't remember them off the top of my head right now. But but my thing is like I don't want mine to be yours. I want mine to be different. I want mine to, if you know that it says Raising Grace Rounds or you see Josh Cherry podcast on something, I want you to be like, oh, we fixing to have a party. Like this is
Yeah.
that we're gonna cry, we're gonna laugh, we are gonna have like it's gonna be different. And that's
Yeah.
usually what it ends up being. Yeah, I get why a lot of people don't like to make them that way because they want people just to pay attention. And I understand that too. But the thing is like you want to get noticed as an artist, right? Like you want people to pay you attention. Well, the fucked up thing is you know, I'm mixing the social media side of it with the songwriting side of it. And it's like I know what you got to do to get attention on social media. And sometimes
Yeah.
you got to do that shock shit. You got to do that loud, obnoxious shit to get something noticed. And it's not, it
Well,
should,
I almost think like your style of it keeps people engaged because I've been to some rounds where it almost becomes sadly uh, like the artists on stage are a bit of a jukebox in the corner
yep,
versus you're always like bringing the attention back to the stage and the artist, and it might be through a party or we're doing a shot or whatever, but it keeps people engaged the whole show versus there's just like there's a singer playing a song as people are having a conversation over a beer, you know.
yeah.
So
Well,
I think it keeps it all
yeah.
focused on the songwriters versus I don't know taking anything away from them.
Well, I think people are such, I know this is going to sound cliche as hell. I think people are such sheep anyway, especially when it comes to music, that
Oh yeah,
unless you see other people enjoying something, if you're the cat, like Nashville's not the casual listener anyway. Like there's so many singers and songwriters that are in a room, they're going to pay attention to every word that you say anyway, because they're
yeah,
really wanting to know what you're doing. But the rest of the people that are in that room that are just watching, unless they see the majority of that room having fun and being attentive to what you're doing, they're probably not paying attention or giving a damn about what's on stage. So
Yeah.
if it looks like everybody's having a good time to that song, yeah, dude, it takes the simplest things sometimes just to get the crowds just to pay attention to the artist. But
Yeah.
when they do, all of a sudden those crowds goes from, oh, I'm running my mouth, eating a quesadilla, drinking a beer, talking to my neighbor to, oh shit, that dude's really good. But
Yeah.
that dude's been good the past 3 songs, but you waited until his last one to pay his ass attention.
Yeah.
Like it's
true.
like should have paid attention the whole time.
Yeah.
How was
I
your
agree.
Whiskey Jam debut a couple weeks ago? I left the day before. I hate I missed it, dude.
Yeah. Man, it was awesome. Such a good time. And it was like another one of those things on this musical path where I'm like, I've wanted to play Whiskey Jam forever. I've done like their online portal submission. I've like everything. And eventually it just happened at the right time. So it was super cool. And to play it at the same time as my friend Ellis, who we have a duet together as well. Uh, Man, it was unreal.
That's cool, dude.
Yeah.
I usually don't watch them on like Instagram Live or whatever, but I watched a little bit of that one because I wanted to see. I was really happy for you, man. That was
I appreciate that.
I try to watch every once in a while one of my buddies' debuts and everything,
Yeah.
like on Whiskey Jam, because that's one of the things like that's a big deal for people. Like
Oh yeah,
Ward,
it's one of the little. No, I don't want to say little. It's one of the songwriter rites of passage almost
yeah,
as
dude.
I've seen since I've been coming to Nashville. So
Well, like all of us want to be Ward, right? Like anybody that's in my shoes or whatever, we just look up to Ward because it's like this dude's been doing it forever. He clearly did it the right way. He's got a great
yeah,
reputation. Um, I want to do what he's doing one day. Like I want the Raising Grace studio and Raising Grace rounds and everything to be Whiskey Jam one day.
yeah,
And I admire him and I love it. And to see one of my buddies on there, it's like, that's cool, dude. You're in the right place. Is what like you're right where you're
yeah.
supposed to be.
It was great energy, and again, it's like that's almost how like I enjoy music and the music business and the music journey so much, and I always have these little like checks along the way. Like the first time I ever played a writers round in Nashville, the
Yep.
first time I ever played a band show in Nashville, first Whiskey Jam, going to play at this venue or that venue, where I'm like, from playing in pubs, you're looking up like, oh, I can't wait to do something like this or whatever it is. We're playing full band shows now or recording an album. There's all these little things keep me so like excited. I'm not looking to skip any steps or be like, okay, I'm not happy until I play arenas only. It's just, I love this business and this art, like creating out of thin air a song. Like you could turn one
Yeah.
sleepless night into a song that was never there before. It fucking blows my mind, but it's like, it's an exciting thing.
Yeah. I try to explain it to my buddies down here all the time, people I grew up with. And a lot of them just don't get it. The fact that we can be sitting around a table, sitting around a bar, whatever, talking shit to each other. And there's something about, even if it's a bad song, even if it's not a really good idea, but if you sit there and like you're just having a conversation and one of you say something that could be a hook and you look at it and you look at each other and you're like, that's a song.
Yeah.
That's a song. Let's go write it right now. And it's like, but you're around like-minded people. And it's like that person that's right here next to me gets me. Like that
Yeah.
person's a dreamer just like I am. And they're not gonna look down on me if for whatever reason. Like for me, it's just so special that when you can have those moments, and there's just so many people where I'm from, dude. Oh, they don't get it. They don't get it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they don't understand it whatsoever.
I think that's why so many people go to Nashville. Like it's the hub of that. And when you find, a circle of people that understand it, or are pushing and driving towards even honing that or getting better at it, it's like you don't want to go anywhere else. Nashville, well, for one, all the talent from the most talented people from across the country are there
Yeah.
singing and playing, and but everyone's there to just kind of do the same thing and hone that skill, and it makes it's a fucking magical place. Like from the first time I went, I'm like, oh my God, this place is unreal.
It humbles you real quick.
Oh my, there's been a million times I also wanted to quit.
Yeah.
I'll watch around and I'm like, why do I even bother when there's people that are that good,
Well, it's one of the things I'm having to learn with that, because I used to get frustrated because I've got buddies that I just think are so damn good. Like, I just think that it's like, why hasn't my friend made it yet, but this person has?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. But the more and more I'm around it, the more and more I understand the business and I see everything. Like, and this is very fucked up to say, it's not always about who's the most talented.
No,
It's
of course not.
it's about, there's an image, there's a backstory, there's all this kind of stuff. Like, who can we sell the best? Who's
course,
going to
yeah.
sell the most tickets? Who's also got the talent to match up with it? Like,
Yeah.
this, and this.
And even
like,
bigger now, it's starting to become like, what kind of social media following do they already have?
oh yeah.
Have they gone viral on TikTok, or has it been,
Yeah.
it's like there's a million factors which it'll make, a label or something make them come knocking, which it's not always just talent, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, that TikTok shit, like, I've been doing this shit literally, dude, from working in country radio and everything else. I've been doing what I'm doing now for like 8 years, to where like I have not had a real job in 8 years. And I say real job, I work hard, but I don't feel like I've done a real job in
Yeah.
8 years. I've done what I've loved for 8 years.
Yeah.
And it's where I get it, because if you can take out the marketing standpoint from something, to where like a label can get a hold of you and you've already built your fan base, to where back in the day they could see how talented you were, but then they had to build your fan base, and that used to be
Yeah.
that gap they had to bridge. And that's an expensive ass bridge to build.
Yeah.
Now you ain't got to build that son of a bitch no more. You've already done the work.
Yeah.
I can see why they're going, but that talent ain't always there. Like, just because you got 1 million followers on social media, that is not translated to ticket sales for a lot of people. Like,
yeah, and I think one part that seems to be missing, this is just from some personal experiences, like there's a difference between being really good at TikToks
yeah,
or whatever and playing to people in reality, like at a live show. So like the way I've always wanted to play was when I started, I'm like, and I decided late in my life, but I'm like, this is now what I want to do. I went to like 1 million open mics, and then as soon as I could play enough songs, I could book a pub or a restaurant or a bar or a lounge. I just reached out to every single place that would possibly have me. So I was playing like 4 or 5 nights a week while I still had like my military job. Cause like, that's how I'd always heard that people did it, like back when you play to the bars, you learn how to play to people. And I think I'm super happy I did it that way. I'm very glad something didn't go viral and then I got a record deal or something. Like, I would be fucking terrible at playing in front of people if that was the case.
Well, I think that what people are going to figure out, and I think a lot of people already have, is if you don't come up the way you're talking about, you don't learn a lot of things that you need to learn. Adversity is something that an artist has to be able to overcome. And there's a lot of times that you think you're about to put out this badass single, or you think you're about to fill this concert venue or whatever, and nobody shows up for whatever reason, or this song just does nothing. And you're like, oh my God, I thought this was going to be the song, or this was going to be the night. And there's a lot of people that aren't recovering from that just blew up off of social media, and they don't know how to do that. To where I've got buddies that have played in front of 4 people for 4 hours, and they're like, I don't give a fuck. Like,
Oh yeah, I've
What's
done
the
that a lot of times.
what's
Yeah,
the next thing?
yeah,
What you gonna hit me with next? And
yeah,
but I also think it teaches you how to be a performer. It
for sure.
teaches you how to connect with the crowd to where,
Well,
man,
and
what?
that's the thing. If you play to four people, do you have four people that now are diehard
Oh,
followers of
absolutely,
your music? Can you
absolutely,
make that happen? That's like I think is extremely valuable. Like,
yeah,
do you have a diehard fan leaving that four-person
yeah,
venue?
yeah.
Then it became worth it.
There's a lot of these women that are, and I haven't seen many of the men because I don't, I just, there's not many guys that are really good at social media that are also amazing singers that I'm going to listen to. That's usually if a guy's really good at social media and he's an amazing singer, he's got somebody creating the content for him. Like he's not doing it himself.
Yeah,
Uh, but some of these women are, and you can see it like in their face when you see like videos of them in public or like on a stage somewhere trying to perform. And it's like, bitch, you didn't realize that most of these people following you followed you because you look good. That most of these men followed you because you look good, not because you could sing. And now they're not coming to your shows and you're selling 20 tickets in a 500 venue and you're
yeah,
defeated. It's like you should have waited, dude. Like
yeah.
don't
It's
yeah.
like that empty bar lesson is just coming at a inopportune time.
Yeah. Yeah. But also too, don't you think because I don't know where all the influence comes from you writing your songs and everything, but I believe some of the best songs are wrote from the worst times in your life. And
Yeah.
like
Oh, for
how
sure. Like
yes,
you turn that to music. Like the
absolutely. And it's like
all of
if
it.
you've had everything handed to you because of a
Yeah.
social media following,
Yeah.
not
What are
that
you
you
gonna write
haven't
about?
had, yeah, what you gonna write about? Like
Yeah.
you're gonna eventually, and I know that other people are gonna want to write for you and everything because of all that, but you still have to have some input in your music. And if you don't, then you don't have your own genuine voice. And if you don't have your own genuine voice, everyone around you is going to eventually see that, and no one's going to want to work with you, in my opinion.
Yeah, for me, I think it's like that's the only factor that really matters with artists. Like I get that some people do it as a business, as a job. Can I get this song to a certain level so I make
Yeah.
income? Can we just and but for me it's the last thing I ever think about. Like when I upload a song, it's not, is it great if it makes you some cash online?
Yeah.
100%. But it's never like, oh, I need to chop the length of this song that I love because it won't be played on this particular platform, or this is a little too slow or sad or a little too fast or doesn't sound country. Whatever the case is, it's never ever a factor. If I
Yeah.
write a song and I love that song, that's how it's going to come out to the world. And I think each individual artist doing that is what creates diverse music. If
Absolutely.
not, it all just like if your goals and metrics are all exactly the same, then it just sounds the same. I think we could probably point to a million different songs on the
Yeah.
radio where it's just like that sounded just like the last one. Like what would make
Because
me
they
love
do.
that?
They
And
do.
I think it's, an artist not being 100% genuine to like, wherever the hell these songs come from through that particular artist, which is the lens it's going to shine out to the world. That's when music is amazing, when it all sounds like it's individualized.
Yeah.
And then you can pick and choose what you like and where you want to, the shows you want
Yeah.
to go to and stuff. But
Yeah. You're supposed to take influence from artists, but you're not supposed to imitate. Like,
yeah.
yeah, like everybody wants to damn write a Willie Nelson song or a Johnny Paycheck song or a Keith Whitley song,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
don't nobody want to write it exactly like them, or at
That's
least
right.
or at least you shouldn't.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of people that are out there right now sitting down in Nashville because I don't, I you were in town, and thank God you wasn't around us at the time. I don't know when to shut up if you hadn't figured that out yet. Like I'm just one of those, like I'm gonna speak my mind. So we're at the house and we're all riding. And there's this dude who comes in and somebody invited him. I don't even remember who invited him or whatever. This dude comes in and he's wearing these tight ass Wranglers, these nice boots. He's got a tucked in Carhartt shirt on, tatted up or whatever. He looks like he could be a country boy. Like he did. He looked like he could be one of my buddies from back home.
Yeah.
And we're all sitting around. One of my buddies is picking and playing, and we're trying to match up a melody to the song that we had wrote and everything. And my buddy plays "Goodbye Time" by Conway Twitty, and then he plays "I Believe" by Ronnie Dunn. And anyway, and this dude is just looking at him like he's all amazed and shit. And before this, I should have prefaced this guy had just like played like a Morgan Wallen song, which I like Morgan Wallen. I'm not gonna knock him.
Yeah.
But the guy had just played like a Morgan Wallen song, and then I hate Kane Brown's music. I think he's a nice person, but I hate his music. But so he just played these two songs right before my buddy did. And he's staring at him and he's like, "Man, did you write those?" And it's like two songs that like everybody ought to fucking know. Like these songs, like you should know if you're in country music or you're trying to be a country artist or a songwriter. I'm not saying that you got to know every damn song of all time, but there's a couple songs that
you
should know. He stopped loving her today, some Hello Darling, some shit like that.
Yeah.
Like there's a couple songs that stand out that you ought to damn know.
Yeah.
And all I could think about is, you know what? This dude don't even know what country music is. I guarantee if I walk outside right now, he's driving a Honda Accord or some shit. But he wants to be country so bad. He don't even know why people like you, people like me, our buddies, why we even love country music. It's just the thing to do right now. And he's one of these guys that's going to write the same generic bullshit that everybody's going to have to hear on the radio instead of it being the real deal shit.
Gonna have to hear it like that. Yeah, it's man. And again, I think if you were just as an artist when you go to write, if you're just really honest with yourself, you know, the things that have inspired you, the sounds and the artists, it's gonna come through in your music.
Absolutely.
in a certain way. But if it comes back to just being honest with yourself, where you're like, okay, am I trying to copy because I want it to be whatever, the next radio hit, or am I really putting out what I think is like the best possible creative, you know, the art. It's art that I can possibly do that's true to me. I think the only one that really knows that is the artist, because like, you know, maybe one of these guys is truly inspired and being honest, and it just comes out to sound exactly like Morgan Wallen.
Yeah,
maybe. To me, that seems a little too convenient.
Yeah, but maybe.
I just think the only one that really would know would be, you know, the individual artist.
Yeah, I really do. Like, I like legacy over popularity. Like, I like when people write songs from a standpoint of, I'm going to write this song to where if you heard it in 10 years, you're going to know it's me and you're still going to think it's a good song, regardless if it was popular or not. And I know a lot of people, they're forced to write a song that's in this day and age is just the popular song, something catchy, something that's gonna just gonna be background noise. I don't listen to a lot of background noise. I listen to a lot of shit that is probably gonna be just as good 10 years from now.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just don't get that. It's like, I don't want to waste my time listening to bullshit. Like, and it's not that it's bad. It's not that it's bad, but I mean, how many songs out there do we hear that you've heard the same song 15 times a different way?
Yeah.
It's like, play me something different.
I think that's the way I'm trying to build, you know, I guess a catalog, or
your shit's definitely
right
different.
Now, I don't particularly care if something hits. You know what I mean? Like, it's on. I want to have a bunch of songs that I'm proud to direct people to, and they're like, "Oh, where can I find your music?" Here it is. If you want to take a listen, and then that's what I'm trying to grow. I want to have 10 fucking albums of songs I'm proud of, and people are like, "Oh, where can we find your music?" Here it is. You know what I mean? And I don't write so that hopefully this one, when I press upload and it's out, you know, goes to whatever number, any amount of streams. Right now, I'm just truly trying to build a foundation in my music where I'm like, here's a bunch of songs I'm proud of. I've put in the work to become a better guitar player and singer and songwriter. So when I have all this foundation because this is what I'm doing the rest of my life. I'm going to be a songwriter for the rest of my life. So I'm like, how do I put in the work now so that it makes sense? And it's not like this, oh, you have an opportunity, whatever, Red Rocks. And I'm like, oh no, I don't know how to play in front of people. You know what I mean? Or our live show isn't dialed in, or we're not as tight of a band as we should be, or I don't even like the fucking songs I have out. What am I going to play to these people? So I just want to have a foundation of stuff I'm proud of where I'm like, we can be out touring and be like, pass on our show and meet folks and connect through music.
Yeah, I got one when me and you get done that me and Riley Anderson wrote the other day that he's probably not going to be able to do anything with it because he's got so many coming out on his next thing.
All right.
That I hadn't even thought about you, not like in a bad way, but I was like, you know who that would fit good sitting here talking to you? It's a song.
Send it over.
It's a song about dementia.
Okay.
It's a weird look on dementia. We were at the last show we did in Nashville. We missed August because Live Oak was moving. So in July, one of my buddies, Jesse Wayne Taylor, who's with Creative Vets, he had one of the guys from Creative Vets there, and they had wrote a song about dementia or whatever. And I was over there, and I had a couple beers, obviously. And I had got the idea in my head. I was like, you know what? Dementia is the worst thing ever. Anyway, right? Like it really is. I said, but being the weirdo that I am, if you were looking outside the box and you had the worst life ever, and
you got to forget about it,
and he forgot, and like you had started getting dementia, and all the things you couldn't forget, you started forgetting.
Yeah.
Like, and you finally found peace.
I like that.
So we wrote it. We wrote it. I'll send.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's I can't remember the hook on it. It's nice and I'll just send it to you real fast. But it's yeah. I don't know why. I was just like, Dallas would probably be perfect for this. I'm sitting here thinking about it. It's all the things I couldn't forget. It's nice to finally forget all the things I couldn't. Whatever it is, I can't fucking remember. But no, dude. Bobby, you got to meet Bobby Pinson already, right? Like,
yeah,
you've been around him a couple.
Experience I have with him is just doing shots of Reposado.
Oh, that sounds about right, to be honest with you. He told me something the first show I ever did with him, which is still one of my favorite episodes of all time. But we went to Seagull Studio and recorded with him probably 2 years ago whenever The Shave came out. We helped him like debut it. My show was the first show that Shave ever was on. I was very proud of that. But he told me something. He said, in order to do what I've done, you got to write one great song before you write a lot of good ones. So you got to put your heart and soul into everything you start off writing. It's got to be you. And if you can write that one great song, then everybody's going to know who you are. Then everybody's going to want to work with you. And that's what he told me. And that's what I tell all the young artists and stuff that we work with. I also tell them this, like, this is kind of from my point of view. I think everybody, whether you're a songwriter or not, I think everybody has the potential to write a great song because you're the only person that can tell your life story.
Of course.
Like you might have to sit down with a songwriter and tell them about what you've been through, but you can find something in your life that is different than anybody else's.
Yeah.
And you can write that. And I think that's where your great song, your first thing comes from, is from a life experience. And if you're just trying to put out a copycat of everybody else because you think it's the popular thing to do right now, you're never going to have that great moment. You're never going to have that great song.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, even if what you had been through is not necessarily unique for most people going through something, what's unique is their perspective about it, and I think molding that into a song is what can make the exact same thing, whether it's heartbreak or loss or a good thing. It's like the thing that is different between everyone is their perspective on that, how they saw it, how it felt, how it, all of that. And that's where you could have 10 people in a room who had all had their heart broken, and they'll have 10 different perspectives on what it is, and that can be 10 different killer sad country songs.
Yeah, I love a good sad one.
Yeah.
Well, dude, before we get out of here, what are some of the dates that I know you said October the 4th, you got us in Macon, Georgia at 20s.
Let me see here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pull up some of your dates so folks know where to find you at around here when you come down.
October 4th, we're at 20s Pub in Macon, Georgia. And then we're going to connect on if we can get something on the 5th there. Then we're going to travel down to Mobile, Alabama, the People's Listening Room. And then we're going to Fat Jack's, Texarkana. We're waiting on a date somewhere in Dallas, Texas after that. And then we're also waiting on 2 things for a private sort of show in Fort Bliss, Texas, and then up to Nashville for a couple. So as of right now, I got the 20s in Georgia. I play a private event the day before in Atlanta, Georgia. And then down to Mobile, Alabama. Mobile, Alabama. The People's Listening Room.
Don't worry, they can't read over there. They don't give a damn how you say it. Fuck Alabama. I'm not a big fan of the state of Alabama. Oh, it's almost football season down here. So you'll get to learn real quick about we're a different breed of people down here when football season comes into play.
I've seen just like small pieces of it, and I'm like, this is insane.
It's we're not good people whenever football season rolls around. I'm talking about preachers. I'm talking about everybody that you'd be like, well, that seems like a good person. You let their football team in college lose, and you'll find out real quick that maybe they ain't as good as you think they are. But drop your social media stuff too, dude. And man, I'll let you get. And I look forward to it. And I'm gonna make a phone call for you as soon as we get off here. And I'm gonna see if I can get you another show at a place, full band show. And I guess you got Micah Kennedy coming with you on some of them, right?
Yeah,
I like old Micah. He's nice when I've been around him.
Yeah, he's an awesome dude. He helped out with connecting to a few different places, and I think whether dates line up or not on this run, we're gonna be back down as much as we can be.
Cool, dude.
Yeah.
Well, what's your Instagram, TikTok, all that shit?
Dallas Alexander on most things, TikTok or X. Instagram is I am Dallas Alexander. That's about it. They all connect to each other, so if you're looking hard enough, you'll find it.
Well, sweet, dude. Well, I appreciate it, brother. And yeah, dude, I'll be seeing you soon.
Good chatting with you. When are you back in Nashville again?
I will get there the 9th. So my birthday's September the 10th. And
I'm gonna be in town.
Are you really?
Hell yeah. I get there the 9th. I have to play the Bowery Vault on the east. I don't have to. I mean, I get to play.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play at the Bowery Vault on the east side the night of the 10th with Jackson, Nance, and Ellis.
Okay.
And I'll be there for an event.
What you got going on the 11th?
I have an event. I'm going to Charlie Daniels Foundation. That's the reason I'm actually coming to town is for that event. And I just we tacked on that show.
Cool.
Because I'm going to be there. But let's connect. I'll see you in there.
Cool. Show. Well, yeah, I'll get there that Monday. Our show, our round is the 11th at Live Oak. I was going to tell you get done early or whatever. Holler at me. We'll put you up there somewhere.
All right. Well, I'll definitely come by and listen if that event goes. I really don't know what to expect. I know it starts at about 5:30. I have no idea if it goes 7:30.
You go have fun. Like if it's got Charlie Daniels connected with it, as far as it being their foundation, you hang out there as long as you possibly can.
I sure will.
Yeah. You just see us when you get done, boss.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, we'll see you soon, brother.
Great to chat. Good to see you again, man.
You too, man. Well, hey, thank each and every one of y'all for listening to the Josh Terry Podcast. I will catch y'all next time.